Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our JustNoMil. In today's episode, my MIL interrupted our wedding vows and yelled at my husband at our wedding. MIL is mad that she didn't see our pregnancy announcement on FB, and apparently it's our fault. Nils try to invite themselves over and impose for another 8+ hour visit, but I put my foot down and stand my ground. Jane Mom complains that I asked my dad for what I wanted for my birthday and not what she wanted. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. My MIL interrupted our wedding vows and yelled at my husband at our wedding. Hi folks. First time poster, so please be kind. I am struggling with the fallout from my new mother-in-law's behavior at our wedding. I could post an essay about her behavior since then, but have decided to keep it to the behavior surrounding the wedding for now. I am massively concerned about the effect it has had / could have on my relationship with my husband, and feel the need to seek advice from others in similar situations. Names and locations have been omitted to protect the innocent, haha. My husband and I met in graduate school, and were instantly connected. He had moved here from a surrounding state, and I had lived here my whole life. We dated for 6 years before we got married, and his mother was never really an issue. His parents would come visit, and once in a while we would go visit them. There were some red flags with his mother in terms of her drinking, but I honestly never gave it a second thought at the time. Once we got engaged, everything changed. His mother suddenly became incredibly needy and manipulative, even though they didn't live in the same state. Everything comes with a side of guilt. Her side of the family started causing issues because we were not inviting children to our wedding. In our defense, it was a black tie, evening wedding, and we simply did not feel it was appropriate for children. Let me be clear that we love children, but decided not to invite them to our wedding. However, my MIL took it upon herself to confront me on this, without her son's knowledge, and try to coerce me into allowing her side of the family to bring their children, even though I had made it clear to her in a kind way that no children were being invited on both sides. She and her family continued to push the issue to the point where my husband and I offered to pay for a babysitter for the children so that the parents could attend. This was rejected, and some members of her family opted not to attend our wedding because children weren't invited, which was hurtful and, in my opinion, a little ridiculous. It was the source of a lot of drama leading up to the wedding. Throughout the planning process, I attempted to include my MIL from afar, sending her pictures and updates, so that she would feel included because she doesn't have a daughter and always wanted one. The week before the wedding, I sent her a bouquet of white flowers to make her feel special. Then came the wedding weekend. We had our rehearsal dinner, and then opened it up to all of our guests to come for welcome drinks. It was all very elegant and going well until my MIL's side of the family showed up. All of the women showed up wearing white, which is a big no where I come from, in protest to us not allowing children at the wedding. This was pointed out to me by our friends from graduate school, and frankly, it was humiliating and petty. I said my hellos and could tell some of them felt bad, and went back to the hotel to get my beauty rest for the big day. On the day of the wedding, things were going well. I was in a suite with my family and friends getting ready, and my husband was in a separate suite with his family and friends getting ready. All was good. The ceremony started, and when it was my turn to walk down the aisle, I couldn't have been more excited. We lost 3 grandparents between us in the 2 years leading up to our wedding, and we decided to honor them by acknowledging them at the start of our wedding ceremony. Once they were mentioned, my MIL got up out of her seat, approached us at the altar and interrupted our wedding to say that an aunt who had passed away wasn't mentioned. My husband immediately told her to sit down, but the damage was done, and guests thought she was objecting to our marriage. It was mortifying. My husband is pretty sure she was mixing alcohol with her medications, but she claims that was not the case. When I had my first dance with my father, she got up, turned her back to us and proceeded to walk around the tables her family was seated at. She was the only person standing and not paying attention. My husband and my MIL had discussed what song they would dance to for their first dance months in advance of the wedding, and he ultimately selected the song she wanted. However, right before it was their turn to dance, she angrily accused him of lying to her and choosing a different song. My husband has the text messages from her requesting the song that he selected, so this was completely untrue. She often lies to get what she wants, which has continued since the wedding. It got to the point where he had to say, "Mom, why are you ruining my wedding?" to her while they were dancing. We had to edit her behavior throughout the night from our wedding video. This woman has had such a negative impact on us in other ways as well, which is a post for another time, and I'm wondering if there is a way to get past the way she treated us at our wedding. MIL is mad that she didn't see our pregnancy announcement on FB, and apparently it's our fault. We live 4 to 14 hours away from our families, who live in many different states, so at 12 weeks we decided to tell everyone we were expecting our first child on a Zoom call. My MIL immediately started bawling and hyperventilating, and after a solid 5 minutes of us all awkwardly watching and waiting for her to calm down, my parents start giggling and say they'll just call us later. All of our siblings end up doing the same, as she just won't calm down, and then starts dramatically choking and coughing because she's freaking out. After everyone else has hung up, she's suddenly fine and immediately starts drilling my husband about baby info. He sighs and tells me to go call everyone else separately and he'll deal with her real quick. Eventually everyone we wanted to know knows. We show the ultrasound picture and all seemed great. About 3 weeks after that, we made a post on FB/Instagram jointly to let extended family and friends know, super casual. We didn't film anything or take cute staged photos, it was just a quick heads up, a baby is coming kind of thing with our ultrasound photo. Now it's been 3 weeks since that post and a solid 6 weeks since our Zoom call. My MIL texted my husband yesterday, on Mother's Day, a huge paragraph about how we have both obviously blocked her on FB, and we need to switch our settings back because she never saw the post online. It's 9 p.m, we had just gotten back from the urgent care, because my husband got an abscess on his face that was so large it was preventing him from eating, and now this. He calls her and she goes into a passive-aggressive rant about how we have her blocked on the social media post, and that she only knew about the post because someone at lunch brought it up, and how mortifying it was that she hadn't seen it. My husband calmly tells her that she's being ridiculous because why would we block her from something, let alone something she already knew about, as we had privately sent her the photo before posting. She states that it couldn't have been a glitch, or her old dinosaur phone, or any number of other problems that could happen. No, we have her blocked, and we need to change our settings immediately. They're going back and forth and she blurts out, "Oh, and you said she's 12 plus 1, but the picture says 12 plus 4, so you lied about that too." My husband asks WTF she's talking about and goes, "The ultrasound picture you posted on Instagram, it says the gestational age is 12 plus 4, not 1. You guys." She saw the F*King post the day it was posted on Instagram. I go back to the post and she commented the same day. My husband made a typo in a comment and said the wrong number to someone else commenting. She was pissed because our families are mostly on FB and more people saw and commented on that one, so she felt left out. She then states that we should have noticed that she didn't like that, almost month-old, post and should have called her to double-check that she saw it. While my husband is running his business/can't chew because his face is so swollen, I'm pregnant and we've been packing for our move next weekend. I'm still looking for my eyeballs as they had violently rolled out of my skull last night. Nils try to invite themselves over and impose for another 8+ hour visit, but I put my foot down and stand my ground. DH and I just moved into our first rental house, after being forced out of our old apartment by our shitty landlords, which is another story in itself. JustNoMil has been extremely rude and judgy about every apartment we've lived in. It's so dark and dingy, it's so small I can't breathe, and here you're wasting all your money on rent when it could be going towards a mortgage. It never ends. So last weekend she invited herself over to visit the baby by texting DH about it, so I contacted her and said, "He told me you wanted to come visit this Sunday, but we're actually moving into our new house on Saturday." Of course she took that as great. "We can visit your new apartment." I ended up agreeing to let her come over for dinner. I told her I'd make dinner around 6, and she could come over at 5. She ended up calling DH Saturday night and telling him she'd be over at noon the next day. the F*** audacity. I tell him to call her back and say absolutely not, but she of course ignored the calls, to which I texted her, and in no uncertain words told her she's not welcome to come before 5. I even went as far as dropping the baby off at my, notoriously tardy, mom's house and told her not to bring him back before 5. I'll show up just before 4 as expected, and continue to make comments about how the baby isn't there and dinner isn't ready yet for 2 hours. Which I knew would happen, but I specifically told them dinner is at 6, don't come before 5. They eventually pull DH into the next room and tell him to go get the baby himself, but as if on cue my mother walks in with him just as I'm putting dinner on the table at exactly 6:01 p.m. Hopefully that teaches them a lesson about showing up when I F*** tell them to. Probably won't change a thing though. Jane mom complains that I asked my dad for what I wanted for my birthday and not what she wanted. On the 7th of June, I'm turning 15. I live with my mom and sister 10, and today, my dad came over whilst my mom was at work. We talked, and the subject of my birthday came up. My mom had already talked to me about what I wanted. I asked for this book series I had my eye on, which she huffed and puffed about. Then, she told me to ask my dad for a gift card to TK Maxx, so that she could get me a coat she saw there. Personally, I don't want a coat for my birthday. I already have more than enough, and with summer coming, it's not like I'll be using it a lot, though with English weather, you never know. I told her this, and when she asked what I'd want from my dad instead, I said a camera. I take photography in school, and sometimes the teacher tells us to go out and take pictures for homework, which sucks for me since the camera on my phone is pretty shit. My mom told me that it would be pointless and a waste of money, because of course a new coat that would just collect dust in my wardrobe was much more important. Anyways, my dad came over, and instead of asking for a TK Maxx gift card, I asked for a camera. I showed my dad the one I liked on eBay, and I thought it was a pretty good price for a camera. He wrote down the model name and told me he'd have a look when he got home. Before he could do that, however, my mom came back. They talked, after my mom complained that she's all alone and has no support whatsoever, and he mentioned the camera. Well, my mom shut that idea down pretty quickly, and told him to get me a TK Maxx card, and that if he got a camera, she'd sell it on eBay. How has your day been so far? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.